Welcome back. It's The Rush. Thanks for being with us. This segment is brought to you by Grass Creek Construction. They've been helping build the community wherever they build down here for over 20 years. We've got head coach of Weber High School, Mo Cannon, joining us. He's going into his third year. We're doing a football story. He's had a heck of a journey through football, had a lot of success, and now going into year three with the Weber Warriors. How's it going, coach?
Very good. I appreciate you for having me on, Andy.
We're thrilled to have you. The first question I'm going to ask, Coach, is do you remember your first year of padded football as a player? And what was that year like for you?
I do, yes. I'm originally from San Diego, California. I ended up coming out here when I was about 11 years old. But my first year out there, I played for the Escondido Mud Dogs. It was an experience. It was an experience for sure. When I was younger, I used to think I was a quarterback. I was kind of a little bit lighter, but I was a bigger body. Used to think I was super athletic, right? Thought I was a QB. That first year was just fun. I can put it like that. It was just fun. I didn't know what I was doing, just running around, enjoying things. And, at the age of 8, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you have a specific role, specific position. It's more like, hey, let's throw some darts at a board and see if we can go put some points up. So it was a fun experience for me, but it really got a lot more serious for me when I moved to Utah, when I moved to Kaysville, because then I ended up getting a year out here, playing my last little league year here, before getting up into the high school level.
And was it fun off the bat for you? It sounds like it was when you
It
started.
was a blast.
What was the journey like when you kind of progressed through youth football, approaching high school? Was every year just more fun than the next?
Every year was a new challenge. I tell a story to my boys currently, about me in ninth grade dropping 135 on my chest in front of everybody in the high school. That experience right there always sticks out to me because the following year I was different in the weight room because it was the opportunity for me to see that there was growth that was possible, and embarrassing myself in front of all the older guys was what I needed to kind of jumpstart my career.
Awesome. That is great. Um, what's the hardest you've ever been hit in your football career?
That's funny, dude, because there's been multiple times that I've had some big collisions with people. And being an offensive lineman, like, linebackers are usually those guys that with that 5 yard gap that you have between you, that you get the most out of it. I kind of had a welcome to college experience my freshman year up at Weber State. So I'm a JUCO product. I went junior college first, but I was a qualifier at a high school. So I graduated from Davis High School in 2015. Ended up going down to Palomar Junior College back in San Diego. I played the football season and was in Weber State's program by December of
Oh,
2015.
cool.
So it was literally in and out. And I remember that first spring ball, we had a linebacker by the name of LeGrand Toia. And shout out LeGrand because he'll hopefully see this and remember this moment. But I was used to, you know what I mean, being the guy that was hitting linebackers, especially as a pulling guard. And that was my MO, no pun intended. And I remember getting around on my first power up at Weber State in spring ball, and LeGrand Toya was sitting at the middle linebacker position, and he did not move. He stayed locked exactly where he was at. No shuffle, no nothing. I just felt his triple extension from his power position just explode right into me. And I took his helmet right into my chin. It was the first time that I had been buckled and dropped to my knees as an
Oh,
offensive
mama.
lineman by a
Oh,
linebacker too as well. And that kind of let me know, like, one, this isn't high school, this isn't junior college, this is Division 1. You better bring it every single time. So that changed the way that I looked at pulling from that point forward.
awesome story. That is so good. Um, what's the drill that you hated the most when you were a player?
Push pull. So it was a drill for us. My high school offensive linemen hate it to this day, but it is so beneficial. But as an old lineman, you're always susceptible to a bull rush. And we had this drill that Coach Myers, my offensive line coach up at Weber State, did with us, where we started with inside hands. The defense had their outside hands, and we were just going back and forth, working technique on how to stop a bull and how to get our hips back
Mm.
to the defender when they pull us. And that was one of those drills that there wasn't really a time frame on it. It was effort based. So if somebody within your group was BSing a little bit, that drill kept going and going and going. And the lactic acid buildup in those legs was not the best. Not the best.
Fantastic. Um, who was the toughest player you ever played with, Coach?
The toughest player that I probably ever played with, Jonah Williams. So Jonah Williams, he's currently in the NFL right now. He started his career off with the Rams. I believe he's with Minnesota now. I can't fully say, but Jonah's originally from Idaho. He played with me up at Weber State. He had a nickname called the Bull. This kid was probably 6'5", 275 pounds, 280, but like just bricked up, like, and he's a D lineman. So a guy like that, there was multiple times that lining up with Jonah Williams, like I'm just like, man, I got to bring it right now because that kid had one speed, and there's a reason why he's in the NFL now. He had one speed in practice, and anything that was that we were doing, he brought effort and energy in everything that he did. That was a guy that I always had to be on my toes with, for sure.
Awesome. I was going to ask you what the transition was like for you whenever it happened from when you first started playing football to becoming an offensive lineman. What was that like? And then just kind of playing that collegiately and
I've always been a bigger guy. I've always been kind of a stockier dude. Never had the height that I wanted. I wish could have been a little bit taller, right? But the transition was pretty smooth for me. I'm a physical dude. I've never shied away from physicality. I've never been somebody that's backed away from anything that entails. The transition for me was very, very smooth because I did it for a long time. So it wasn't like it was something crazy for me.
sure.
It was just understanding that I'm a little athletic, like, and I've got some size to me. I've got to use this to the best of my ability.
What do you look for? I'm asking you a bunch of questions probably you weren't expecting, but what do you
No
look
worries.
for? Like, how do you describe what it takes to be a good guard versus what it takes to be a good tackle? And maybe when you're talking to players within your program, what are the attributes that separate those two positions?
So with a tackle position, especially on the outside, you've got to be able to utilize your length. Have to be able to utilize your length. And the alignment of a defensive end, whether he's a tight six, you know what I mean, a wide nine, separates what type of set you're going to be able to take for that guy. So with that, you've got to have great eyes, great feet. Your feet have got to be better than your hands at all times when it comes to being an offensive lineman. It's always going to be feet
Yeah.
before hands. But if you can understand your length and catching guys when they get within your frame, you're going to put yourself in a really good position to be able to win reps. And as a tackle, if you're going to lose, you lose outside every single time, right? You want to make sure that you're riding guys on the rim so that we can step up and create a pocket so that that quarterback can make a ball. As far as guard goes, patience. Patience. We're right there in the fight. One of the
Yeah.
biggest things, because I played left guard
Yeah.
for my guys all the time, I tell them, you know what I mean? I didn't have the longest arms in the game, but I had active hands, active feet, because I had to make sure that once I got to the chest, I usually felt pretty comfortable once I got to the chest. Um, Being able to start the fight, though, at the guard position is the goal. Is the goal. I don't want to give a defensive lineman a bunch of space to be able to make moves. I don't want to flash my hands too early to let him be able to use those as levers. It's all about patience and making sure that once we get engaged, we stay with from whistle to whistle.
This interview is brought to you by Appliance Wholesalers Plus. Trust the boys that sell GE and Samsung at AWP. They've been supporting Region 9 athletes for over 25 years at AWP. Also want to thank Grass Creek Construction, who are huge boosters of local athletes. They build up the community, they invest in the community, and support local athletes wherever they build. We love Grass Creek Construction as well. Quick break. Back with more right after this on The Rush. Let's go back to when you were playing. What was your biggest win as a player, college or high school?
Um, in high school was weird for me, man. I loved my experience in high school. I played for Ryan Bishop at Davis High
Yeah.
School. And then my senior year, I played for Tyler Gladwell, who I actually coached with when I got done at Weber State at Layton High School. Um, we were notorious for winning every game throughout our regular season and losing in the first round of the playoffs. So I never really had any huge wins in high school that stood out to me. But in college, I had a lot of good wins that stood out to me. And probably my biggest one that I remember that, like, obviously the Big Sky Championship games that we have won and
Yeah.
things like that have been big. But I will never forget playing at Montana State and the environment that we walked into there. That was pregame. There was some words from fans and stuff like that that had my offensive line coach popping off at the crowd a little bit, like saying stuff to us during warm up. That was a game that the environment in Montana and Montana State are always going to be great when it comes to FCS football. Like, it's just a small town. Like, they love football out there. And that was an environment that I will never forget in the snow, going up there and kind of putting belt to those dudes, man.
Oh,
It was a
nice.
fun game right there for sure.
So cool. Who's a coach that had a big influence on you as a player and maybe how you coach now?
I've got two for you. First and foremost would be Coach Myers, my offensive line coach. He's now at the University of Montana. He's the offensive line coach over there. Um, he was a no BS type of guy. I'm a jokester. I like to play around. I like to mess around. That's how I coach to this day too, as well. But I know how to flip my switch, and I know how to understand when things are serious and getting things done. That coach right there, being my position coach, specifically being around him a lot, I learned how to take hard coaching and
Mm,
understand that it's not coming from a bad place. Like, the dude understood that I could be an asset for the team, especially up front. Like, and he wouldn't let me slide when I thought that what I was doing was correct. He always had something for me, and that's a blessing. My other one is obviously Jay Hill. Coach Hill has been instrumental in my life as a husband and a father mainly. I went through some issues when I first got up to Weber State where I wasn't the best student in the world, coming from a junior college where it was just
mhm.
easy.
Yeah.
Getting up to the Division I level, I wasn't the best. I was doing some dumb things, and I will never forget him sitting me down at the end of my freshman year and looking me in the face and saying, "Are you going to do this to that little girl?" And that's my wife now. We have two kids together, and that changed everything for me because I didn't grow up with the best father figure in the world. My dad was my dad, you know what I mean? And he was there, but he wasn't. So I didn't have the best look of what that looks like. And those situations of him sitting down and caring about me as a person instead of just a player changed the way that I looked at myself as a player and a person. Like, and that was probably the biggest thing that I have taken from my time as a football player, was the man that I could be from playing football. And Coach Hill was one of those guys that, once again, always joking around with us. He would walk into the weight room and tell us, "Hey, Taron Johnson was dumbbell benching 185-pound dumbbells earlier." And you're like, "No, no, he wasn't." But it would motivate you to be like, "Man, I've got more."
Yeah.
Basically, what he's telling me is I've got more. So that idea of always striving to be better than you were yesterday or better than you were a week ago, like, that is constantly stuck with me, and being a good person on the back end of that is like the most important.
Man, so good. Thank you for sharing all that.
Yes, sir.
Um, and then let's see. I guess we can transition here. I could talk to you all day, but let's transition to Weber High now, coach, and just
Yes,
kind of
sir.
give us a preview of this year. Went to the quarterfinals last year, going into your third year. What's kind of your state of the program right now during, I don't know if you started your summer camp or not, but let us know how it's going.
Yeah, so year one, we were blessed enough to get to the quarters. Year two, we were blessed enough to get to the quarters. I've got a great group of young men up on the hill up here in Pleasant View. Um, but at the end of the day, like, if I didn't have the coaches that I had around me, it wouldn't be possible. You can only be as good as the people around you. This last year, we were a little bit younger. Year one was tough because I only had about 75 kids in the program when I got up there. I got the job in February, and by that time, most people are already going, getting their things going.
Yeah,
So that was a situation where year one, we only had the varsity team, and then I had like a freshman/sophomore team. So I
gotcha.
didn't have a JV group at all. And so what that means is last year, the JV group that was seniors, they didn't really get as much burn as what we would expect for them to get because they were backups or they were
Yeah.
special teams guys, which are still great roles within our program, but they didn't get that actual feel of the speed of the game in
Yeah.
a position.
Yeah.
And so I felt like last year, you know what I mean? We performed well, but I think that we were a step late in certain situations, and it was due to the fact that guys didn't get the reps that they needed in year one. This last year, we had all three teams, and I feel really good with the guys that we played because I don't believe in hierarchy. You know, a lot of old time coaches, even some younger coaches, they believe in like seniors have been in the program, they've done this, that, and I don't believe in that. I believe in the best 11 see the field, and the best 11 aren't necessarily always the best football players. Like those could be guys that do everything right, great character dudes, that attitude and effort, the non-negotiables, they're always on point. They know their jobs. They may not make all the plays, but they're in position every single time, right? Those are the guys that we're looking for to be able to win games with. And this next year coming up into year three, I've got some talent coming up, man. I'm super excited about our core. We've got some adjustments to make up front, which we're currently working on right now. But as far as my skills, my secondary on the defensive side, like we are feeling really excited with the amount of guys that we've got coming back that have played football for us. And it's going to be a fun time for sure.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. And then I'm going to get you out on this, coach. Just tell me, give me your love letter to the game of football, why it means so much to you, and why you're, pursuing it still as a high school football coach.
Dude, honestly, Andy, I just got to be vulnerable with you for a minute. If I didn't play football and have the coaches and the people that I had around me, I don't know where I would be right now. Um, I'm a hothead. I have the ability to flip a switch with where I'm from. But moving out to Utah has given me the ability to play both sides of that. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
make jokes all the time that I have the ability to be very, very professional and turn ghetto really quick. And that's to me is a blessing. You know what I mean? Because not a lot of people understand what that other side looks like. I've been out here long enough to understand what I want my life to look like. And that that is my love for football. That is my love for coaches. That is my love for what I do now is to give people the benefit of the doubt to say, hey man, I don't care what you go through. Like this is hard. And if it was easy, every freaking body would do it. And they're not doing it because of what it entails. And I like to tell my boys all the time, like, there is nothing that can be asked of me now that I'm going to look at and be like, oh, this is so hard because they don't know about Fridays on the Hill and Stort Stadium. Like those days build character and they build toughness and resilience. That's what football has done for me. And I couldn't give enough love to this game because I don't firmly believe that I'd be in the situation with my family, my situation financially, my situation with happiness if it wasn't for the game of football. This has done everything and more for me. That is why I'm so passionate about what I do. That is why I'm so adamant about, this being a part of my story because I know where I want to go with this thing. But I'm in no rush. I'm happy with where I'm at right now. I'm 29 years old going into year 3 as a head football coach up here. I can't complain about the situations in the past. I can't complain about the situations in the future. Football has taught me to be very grounded where my feet are, and I'm just going to attack every avenue that crosses my path as I'm doing this.